Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to episode 108 of my Let's Play of Spellforce 3. I'm IVATOPIA, and we're having a little convoy here with... How do you say her name? Yera? What happened to your mother?
What happened to your mother?
She died giving birth to me.
I'm sorry.
It's alright. As I said, I never knew her.
I take it you and your father aren't on good terms then?
You are of great wisdom, Tahar. No, we were not. I was and still am the only heir of the family. And if there's anything my father ever cared about, it was prestige. You see, it might not be obvious, but I'm actually of noble blood. Pure blood, as Finn and Mir elves call it. Nothing impressive, small nobility.
Well,
You know, similar to the kind of Nortander nobility that's always around at royal festivities, licking everyone's boots so that they just don't forget about them.
Do you also have nobility? So I assume your father put you under a lot of pressure.
There's nobility in Finn and Mir?
Oh, yes, there is. They don't call it that, but essentially Finn and Mir is an aristocracy.
How so?
Well, as you might know, elven culture heavily revolves around the White Tree, a gift from their goddess Ellen. Simply put, the tree is revered and guarded by a group of mages, of seers, called the Council. They're the rulers of our country, 6 women and 6 men. Now, according to the ancient lore, when a seer dies, his or her successor is chosen by the Council. However, it has become custom that a seer should be replaced by someone from his bloodline.
Oh, you.
Someone pure, as they call it.
Which means they make sure that the power stays within the right families.
Indeed. And even though elven families in themselves are small, if you count all the cousins, aunts, and uncles, the members of just one council family could populate a whole township.
Wow.
In other words, the closer your blood ties with the council, the closer you are to the White Tree. And thus, the higher your standing.
You're very close.
So I assume your father put you under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. I barely had a childhood. It was all stern-faced teachers instead, trying to feed me language, history, math, and magic from the day I could speak. And I can't even remember all those festivities and religious ceremonies I had to attend. It was as if I learned the meaning of the word small talk before I learned how to ask for my mother's teat. Not that she would have been around to listen.
Wow. Your friends, what was your father hoping to gain with your friends?
How about friends?
Oh, that's another topic. I was allowed to go out and play as long as it was with the right people.
Of course, I
Still,
the right people.
I didn't, which was my choice, really. One of the few I made in those years. I preferred to stay on my own.
How come?
I don't know. See, I've always felt a bit ahead of others. As you know, we think in other dimensions than you do. Our lives are a lot longer. What that means is that an elf who has seen 20 winters is still considered and looks like a child. Thus, behaves as such.
Okay.
I just never felt at home with most people. Especially around my age. And that feeling never
You
changed.
get more grown up than them. What was your father hoping to gain from
What
this?
was your father hoping to gain from this?
Isn't it obvious? He wanted to marry me off, and thus expand our petty little family's prestige.
You ran away, I guess. Oh, suddenly, then you came to that.
If he simply wanted to arrange a marriage for you, then why teach you magic? Maths. When these things happen in Nortander, it's usually more about... how shall I put it?
The looks?
And the ancestry, yes.
Well, these things play a big role in Finn and Mir too, but to be considered a good match, education and magical talent are just as important. For a priest, let alone a pure blood, to be seen with an uneducated, non-gifted street elf is frowned upon, not to say forbidden. Also, from what I've learned, it's mostly young women and girls who get married off in Nortander, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, this isn't the case in Finn and Mir. If the head of a family decides to do so, a young boy or a young man may have the same fate as the one I just escaped by a hair's breadth. But this is a topic you could fill books with. Probably not for now.
Wow. Never came
But
to
it
that.
never came to that.
Because you ran,
Almost.
I guess. I see. I thought it was going to be more than almost.
I see.
Wow, I honestly thought it was going to be more than almost. Who's your father now?
Where is your father now?
Dead as a doornail.
Wow.
He got assassinated some years before I was allowed into the priesthood.
Assassinate. It's not by what's her name, is it? You know, our little assassin who's just joined.
Assassinated? What happened?
He got
Got killed.
mistaken for someone else. But it doesn't really matter. Let's not talk about it.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be. To be honest, I'm glad he's dead.
Wow.
Otherwise, I would be in bed next to some 200-year-old seer now. You see, Tahar, if there's one thing I took away from all that, it's that there's no greater power in life. Or, if there is, It doesn't care. Murderers live to be 100. Children die in the birth beds.
Wow.
Ultimately, the biggest fallacy is that we like to believe that there's someone who gives a damn. We're on our own, and we have to make the best out of whatever life throws at us. I did. And even though not all worked out as I had planned, I'm here. And I'm free.
Yeah, that's something, isn't it? Does always seem to be the case, doesn't it? You know, bad people seem to, you know, break the laws and all that stuff, get away with it, and have great lives, and you try and do the right thing, stick to, you know, the laws, and you just get, pardon my language, cracked on for it. So, that's basically the gist what she's getting at. I did, and even through not all worked out. And the sad thing is about it, though, them good people, if they try to do something, bend the rules slightly, you know, they'll get thrown in jail, you know, slapped around instantly. Yeah, you can see all them people, all them bad people doing it, and because they get rewarded, get away with it, nothing ever happens. It's like back in school days, like with bullies. Bullies would basically call your names, you know, attack you, beat you up, stuff like that. You go to the teachers, they'll bring them in. Don't do that. I'm sorry. Ah, see, he didn't mean it. Wait a few weeks and it'll start again, and that same thing. You don't do that. I'm sorry. Oh, he didn't mean it. It'll start again. You know, rinse, repeat. Yeah, if you then fought back, you know, you hit that volley back, boom, you're suspended out of school and all that. You know? You know, you're the one in trouble, and then the bully's laughing at you. It's crap, basically. Okay, anyway, I did, and even though not all worked out as I had planned, I'm here and I'm free. But the Guardians are real. That's a critical way to see things. Still feel lost sometimes.
But the Guardians are real.
I never said that they weren't. But tell me one thing. Why is there cruelty when there's Shanna? Why is there injustice when there's Arian? Why do children die when there's Ellen? There are two explanations. Number one, the Guardians are far less powerful than we think. Number two, they just don't give a damn.
Their ways are just unfathomable. Stupid. Maybe their hands are tied. Yeah, I agree.
I couldn't agree more.
Happy to hear that. The gods aren't the answer. Yeah, every once in a while there's the token miracle healing. The chances of your prayers being answered are next to none. So you can either sit on your buttocks hoping that some god will take pity, or you can take your fate into your own hands.
I don't really want to say it's a critical, because even though it's green, so it shouldn't cut off this, I feel it makes my character look a little stupid. After, yeah, I agree with what you just said then, that's very critical. A critical way of looking at it. And I say that, it's like, yeah, I agree with you, but you're that's the word properly. Critical. I'm like, agreeing, but then having to go at her, so I'm going to lead that one, just go for this, but you still feel lost.
But you still feel lost sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, I do. But I'm working on it. Anyway,
I noticed.
We digressed quite a bit, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, my fault. Sometimes I just talk too much. I'll see you around, Tahar. And thanks for listening.
You're welcome. I didn't expect that to take so long. Okay, let's see if his is long. Who are you? Who am I talking to now? I'm my druid Augie friend. I wish I was a druid, I could turn into that. Is it a dire wolf, whatever, so I could run faster.
Huh?
Bright light on you. How did you become a shapeshifter?
How did you become a shapeshifter?
I was chosen.
And how does that work?
Complicated. Are you sure you want to hear the whole story? Time isn't exactly on our side.
The more I know about your abilities, the better.
It isn't, but the more I know about your abilities, the better. You're fighting for me, after all.
We're not fighting for you, Tahar. We are fighting alongside each other.
Okay.
That's a big difference.
Alongside then.
Alongside then.
Good. Let's make it short then. Shapeshifting is a gift of Zarek. One that only the best of his shamans are granted.
And how does one become a shaman?
He has to be chosen by a tribe's chieftain. You see, magical talent is a lot rarer among orcs than it is among humans or elves. In my tribe, there was only me and Rain. We both discovered our talent by chance. I, when I was 9, and put out a fire that had broken out in my family's hut. Everybody was asleep. Even the damn fool that had been tasked to stand guard. When I woke up, the entire room was in flames.
Wow. So your magic woke you.
So it was your magic that woke you?
No.
Heat?
I needed to take a piss.
Makes sense. What happened
How you
then?
put it out,
I
man?
had panicked and started screaming, as every child would have. However, the only thing that did was make me inhale the fumes even quicker. My vision blurred and I lost consciousness. When I woke up again, I was on a bed of hay in the village shaman's tent, and everybody was staring at me, as if I was Zarek incarnate. I asked what happened and they told me. Just when I had lost consciousness, it had started to rain. Not just a little. It was a full-fledged storm, a deluge from the skies. With not even a minute, all the tents in the village had been flooded. The fire wasn't extinguished right away, but was quickly put out by the other orcs that had been awoken by the storm.
Okay. Could have been coincidence, yeah.
How did they know it was you? It could have been a coincidence.
An unlikely one, yes. But you're right. According to my brothers, I had an orange shimmer in my eyes and was muttering strange words when they took me to the shaman. She told me that was a clear sign that I was gifted and that I had fire in my blood, as my tribe likes to say. Of course, it changed my life entirely. All of a sudden, I was my Cal's pride. It was strange, not just for me, but also for my kin.
Okay. How did your family take it? Who trained you?
How did your family take it?
Well, they were proud. But they also weren't sure how to treat me anymore. For example, my father stopped taking me out on the hunt because he was afraid that something might happen.
Like what?
Which is ridiculous. Shaman or not, an orc who can't wield a spear isn't an orc at all. Also, my siblings became withdrawn. Jealousy, of course, but also estrangement. All of a sudden, their baby brother had become this strange being, which had apparently been bitten by Zarek himself.
Sorry to hear that.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Don't be dramatic. There's worse fates than being the one gifted orc among thousands.
Who trained you?
Who trained you? The healer?
Yes, but only about her craft. Primitive ghost callings, alchemy, medicine. I learned my magic from an elder who lived in a tiny shack a 15-mile march from our village. I woke up every day before dawn, walked for 2 hours, served him, and received my lessons. Then returned to my cow shortly before midnight. It was hard, yes, but it was insightful. Those long walks in the darkness, the solitude at the foot of the mountain where his shack was, they shaped me.
Interesting. And who is this Rain you mentioned earlier?
Did I? Well, that's complicated. I don't want to talk about it.
All right.
August culture. Milestone before sleep. Advancing main quest. Advancing main quest.
Back in Bar Gagor, you told me that you think the orcs should strive to be more. What do you mean by that? Do you consider your culture to be, well, inferior?
I think that's before then,
No, not at all. On the contrary, I'm glad to be a fire wielder and not a human or an elf.
Why?
Because not so unlike the Shapers, your culture is bigoted.
Yeah, I think I was.
You like to tell yourselves you're more than the animals you but of course you don't admit to it. You want to be better than that. And the result are lies, intrigue, wars, and assassinations.
Well, you have a point.
I know. So no, fool such every...
In other words,
Yes.
Yeah, we've been through this.
And it should be... And as
so what you want?
you make it sound so dramatic. Sure.
Okay. Oh, garnish rent. Oh, can I small?
Regarding this rain you told me about,
No, Tahar. Accept it.
Wow, he turns back on me. Rude much. Okay, so it says this here still. Remnants of old echoes of the past. Talk to Iscum in the Nexus. So I've got to talk to him, and then we can finally go on a mission. Hey, come on, I believe these two conversations took the full episode. So with that being said, we're going to end this episode here. Please like, please subscribe, and please see you next time. And we'll have a chat with the Dwarfy, and hopefully we can find this on a mission again. I've been IVATOPIA. Hope you enjoyed this, and if not, subscribe and like and watch more anyway. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it when you do. See you next week. Bye. We can go in there before we leave. No! What am I doing? What's in there?
what's next?
There we go. Bye everybody.